Hi, everybody, and welcome. How are you? Happy Sunday night. This is Jennie Wright, and I'm coming at you inside a Women's Entrepreneur Network for the weekly show called Built to Thrive. So if you're with me live tonight, I'd love to know. Could you please use #live in the chat and just say hi? Let me know how you're doing. And if you're on the replay, please use #replay just so I know that you were here for that. That way I can help you and comment and answer any questions that you may have had. It's really important to me that you get the information that you need. So I'm just going to make sure this is actually live in the group, and then we're going to get going. So stand by for just one little sec while I do that. And we'll see how we are doing in here. How's everybody doing tonight anyways? Let me know. How was your weekend? Did you have a good weekend? We've had quite a bit of snow up here. It's been interesting. Hi, Jason. Thanks for being on. Okay, I can see that we're live. Fantastic. All right. Awesome. Okay. Hi, Catherine. How are you? Good to see you. Very good. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. So tonight we're going to be talking about how to joint venture, which we call JV, the right way with multiple partners at once to create a winning list build. Does that sound like something that might be interesting? I'm really interested in this topic myself because I'm really passionate about having people build their lists using different kinds of list builds. I call them list injections because it can really put a lot of people into your list in a very short period of time. And I love doing those because it can create a big surge in your list, which makes it a heck of a lot easier for you to be able to sell to and make ethical offers to at a later time. So hi, Michelle. Thanks for being on. Catherine says, so excited to see you. I've been missing the lives in the group. Yes, well, the lives start again very soon. So good job. Okay, I'm so glad you guys are here. Thanks for being on. Awesome. Okay, so in my opinion, and I know a little bit, and I know one or two things about list building because I've actually done about 240 online summits, approximately 50 to 60 challenges, and several hundred webinars. Okay, so from that knowledge, I know that what I'm about to tell you works. Okay, so you can only really list build in one of three ways. You can list build organically by yourself, which means you create the lead magnet or the video series or the other thing, whatever it is, and you promote it organically by yourself. You can use paid traffic by yourself, meaning you can purchase Facebook ads or Google AdWords, all those kinds of things, and be doing that on your own. Hi, Janet. How are you? Good to see you on. Everybody, Janet is my sister-in-law, and I believe my brother might be there too. So thanks for being on, guys. It's great to have family. The other and the third way is partnering with one or more joint venture partners who help you spread the word about your list build. And for tonight's purposes, we're going to talk about joint venture partners because it is a great way when you don't have a list or you have a very small list or your following is quite small for you to get more exposure. And it's an ethical relationship that you develop with other speakers or experts in your niche to help grow. Okay, usually those experts or those JV partners have additional resources more than yourself. They have more followers. They might have a bigger list. They have other resources that will help grow your following, but in return, you're creating an ethical relationship. They're going to help promote you. You're going to provide a platform. So we'll talk about that a little bit more, a little bit later in this training. So I'll delve into that a little bit more. So having multiple joint venture partners working together to create one list build means you can add hundreds, if not thousands of people into your list multiple times a year. I am a huge fan of creating these joint venture list builds twice a year, spring and fall. Those are the times that seem to work the best. And you need to avoid some really big holidays. So I'm talking about spring and fall in North America, just so you know, because I know that's reversed. Hi, Patty. How are you? Good to see you. Awesome. Glad you guys are on. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Okay. So regardless of how you want to list build, and again, there's various styles of joint venture list builds. I'm going to break them down quickly. So those are summits, okay, and challenges, as well as things like a panel. And I'm going to talk about those a little bit more shortly. So just keep that in mind. Here's how to do this all really ethically and achieve an amazing result. Regardless of your list size, I want you guys to be looking at doing something like this about twice a year, spring and fall, like I was mentioning to you, okay? The best way that you can do this is with a 3 to 5 day summit or a 5 or 7 day challenge. Now, with a 5 or 7 day challenge, you're probably just working with one other joint venture partner versus 2 or 3, because that would be way too complicated in a challenge. But with a summit, you could have 5, 10, 20 other joint venture partners all partnering together for your summit. And the outcome can be incredible if it's done right, okay? So who here knows what a summit is? Put your hand up in the chat box. Give me a yes if you know what a summit is. If you don't know what a summit is, give me a no in the chat box so I know that you don't know what a summit is, and I can give you guys some more information to help you out there. Hi, Haley, how are you? Thanks for being on. I love the opportunity to go live and help train in the group. Thanks so much for that. All right, good. So we're just gonna see how people and what they know about summits and things like that, and then I'm gonna sort of customize my content. But the thing with the summit is that it's a interview style list build with a carefully selected group of experts who are in the same field as you. So Catherine says kind of, sorta. There's some people who are not so sure. Some people do know what a summit is, and that's pretty good. So we're pretty happy there. So with the summit, you do pre-recorded interviews with your expert, and then you drip those interviews out over the course of a few days, just like some people do in these like live in-person conferences of speakers. Okay, you know, when you see like those 3-day or those 4-day conferences in Las Vegas and things like that, it's a similar sort of field, but we're doing it online. In return for being featured as a speaker on your event, your experts promote the event to their followers and letting people know that they're going to appear. This is how you grow your list. Hey, everybody, I'm going to be featured on Catherine's free online event starting on March 15th. Come check it out. You know, www.blablabla.com/summit. They go to that, they register, and Catherine then grows her list as a result. Okay, makes sense? So the big guys and girls and gals in all of your niches are doing summits. I guarantee if you go to Google and you put in the name of your niche, whatever it is that you talk about, plus the word summit or online event, you're going to see several, if not dozens, of online events in your niche that people are actually doing right now, which is great news. It doesn't mean the market's flooded. It just means that other people are doing them, which means there's success. I have done summits myself for clients in every niche conceivable. I've done them for clients who want to create, you know, who help people create intimacy. I've done business summits and love summits. I've done healing summits and wealth summits. I've even done summits for accountants and, you know, people who want to live in Winnebagos and travel across the country. So if it's a summit, or if it's a niche, I've probably done a summit on it. And there's always a way to create something like this that's very, very successful. Okay, all right, good. So here's the interesting part. Summits are meant to build your list and create relationships. They're meant to create incredible content and forge relationships with other, obviously, joint venture partners. They're not necessarily meant to make you money in the moment, but they can do that. They absolutely can. I've done summits that have had, you know, a VIP package where people have sold them and they've made money off the back end. Additionally, I've also had people sell coaching packages while the summit is actually open by offering a free call. And they've made $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. So this is all within the realm of possibility for you as well, okay? Okay, so who here has thought about doing a summit? So put an S in the chat box. If you've never done one, but you've thought about doing one, or if you've done one and you want, or you're thinking about doing one again. So let me know in the chat box if that's the case. And for you, those of you who know me, you know I have to sip on my water. Okay, so next, I want to talk to you about selecting the right speaker for your joint venture list build. Yes, multi-skilled queen alert. Thanks, Catherine. Okay, so here's how to actually pick the right types of joint venture partners and speakers for an online event like a summit or even a challenge or a panel. It doesn't matter. The same research applies. Catherine says, I've thought about it because your rollout plan in the course says to. Yes, it does. So Catherine's actually a student within my List Build Academy Challenge Blueprint course. Thanks for being on, Catherine. And in that course, my students are learning how to build online challenges, but I give them a rollout plan for the entire year on content they should be doing and list builds they should be doing. It's one of the bonuses that came with the course. And in that rollout plan, I include a spring and fall summit for all of my students and something for them to plan towards. So right now they're building a challenge, so most likely they'll do a fall summit. Yes, I know my calendar. Thank you, Patty. Patty's another student in the course. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. Okay, good. All right, so selecting the right speaker for your joint venture list build is really, really important. It's like buying a car, okay? You don't just go to the lot and say, I want the pretty pink one or I want the silver one and drive it off the lot. Because chances are, if you don't know what you're driving or you don't know what you're taking, you might have problems later. So we always do our research. And the best list build that you can do with joint venture partners are the ones that you put the time and effort into research and planning. So do your research, okay? Research it all. Your experts, your joint venture partners need to have the same core values as you do. They need to be active on social media and also on email to their current lists, showing that they are actually interacting and creating responsiveness with their list. They need to be providing really good value. So if you go to their business page and you just see them sharing articles on their business page, but not really creating a two-way conversation or anything, that's not what we want. We want people who are creating original content, videos, blogs, articles, podcasts, and putting it out online for everybody to see. Okay. We also want to see that when they do that, they're getting lots of interaction. So if they're putting something out online and you're only seeing, 1 or 2 likes and not much else, then that is a red flag. Okay. So especially if the business page, the numbers on the business page don't jive. And Jason and I just actually saw this recently. We were looking into some potential experts for something that we're doing. And we saw one of these business pages, and I can't remember the exact numbers, Jason, but I remember it was like they had 13,000 people or something on their business page. And when they put a post out on their business page, they had 1 or 2 likes or something like that. And that's a red flag. If you have 13,000 people who've liked your business page, then it's really probably sort of a weird thing if only 1 or 2 people are liking your posts. Either your content isn't very good, or the people who like your page, maybe they're not in alignment, all sorts of different reasons, but it's a red flag for me, okay? People with an engaged audience, Catherine asks, yes, engaged audiences. So if you put a post out, Catherine, on your business page or on your personal profile or on your Instagram, your LinkedIn, engagement, an engaged audience is going to respond, right? If you, they're going to like it, they're going to comment, they're going to share, they're going to, want to create engagement with you because they're interested in what you do. Okay. That's an engaged audience. The other thing with engaged audiences is their emails. So when people are sending out email and to their email lists and their open rates are really low, or they're getting no clicks on their emails, that's a show of low engagement. And their list probably isn't dialed in niche-wise to who they are and what they're doing. So they have a bit of a niche problem, or maybe their list, is very turned off to what they're doing, and they need to do a nice big cull, like clean their list and do a list build that's very niched in. So this is something that a lot of you know that I talk about, but that Jason talks about even more, and Jason's on this, thanks for being on, where he talks a lot about niche, right? And being niched in. So that's something for you guys to consider. Yes, very little engagement. Yeah, Jason said it showed the same on Instagram and Twitter as well. Very little engagement. And that's a huge red flag. That's a huge red flag. So when you're looking at joint venture partners, you want people that if they have 351 people who like their business page, that 7, 8, 10 people will actually, interact with them and comment or like or share. So that's exactly, very little engagement. Absolutely. Hi, Beth, welcome. So glad you're on. I'm so glad you guys are on. Thanks so much. Okay. So let me just make sure. All right, good. I was having problems showing. There it is. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that everything was good. It looked like something funny was happening in the on the live. Okay. So on top of doing your research, you need to make sure they're providing really good value. We talked about that. And they have to already be showing that they know how to promote other people. Now that one's a bit of a caveat. That one isn't 100% necessary, but I like it. So what that means is that when you might, as part of your research, you should be registering for your potential experts free gifts so you can get on their email list and see how they interact with their email audience. And if you do that, then look around for promotions in their emails. Do they promote other speakers? Do they promote other events? How are they promoting them? Is it just a blip in a newsletter? Is it like a full one-page email? How are they doing it? And wow, like what are they doing? And you want to make sure that it gives you like a nice warm fuzzy feeling that you guys are in alignment, because if you're not, then it's a flat out no from me. Okay. So it's like the big red buzzer and not doing it. Make sense? Good. Awesome. All right. Jason says, if their audience is non-responsive, they have no audience. That's 100% true. If their audience is non-responsive, they got nobody. Okay. Here's how to ethically work with your speakers. Once you've done your research, you've identified potential joint venture partners, and now you're ready to connect with them, there's a couple things I want you to do. When you're connecting with potential speakers, it isn't about them being way up here and having an audience and you feeling way down here because you've never done anything before, or you're worried about connecting with these people because they have such a big audience. I want you to eliminate that gap. When you have this gap, this disparity between you think they're like a pro and oh my gosh, and you think you're way down here, it automatically creates a disparity in the relationship when you even just connect with them for the first time. Okay. And by having that disparity in the relationship, the control is not in your hands. And I'm not asking you to be heavy-handed or be in control, but I want you to have an equal footing as your experts. Okay. So getting to equal footing is working on your imposter syndrome. And the first step of getting over imposter syndrome is to understand that you are not an imposter. There's like articles written all over the place. And I was talking to somebody about this earlier. And to realize, yes, you are somebody. You are just a few steps behind from the other somebody. That's all. Yes, Jason says leverage. We do not want to create a relationship of leverage. Just because these people have, done business longer than you or been more successful than you, whatever that success is, we don't want them to have leverage. We want to have equal footing in a relationship. And we do that before we get on a call with them. We get over that issue. And we know, what? We're all just trying to make it work. We're all just trying to build our lists and grow our businesses and all those kinds of things. We are not focusing on who's here and who's here. Okay. So once you connect with that potential speaker, and there's loads of ways of doing that, email and websites and DMs and all that, you want to invite them to a Zoom call. Don't get on a phone call. Don't do this over DM, and don't do it over email. Make those conversations short and be like, can we just get on a Zoom call? I want you to have a face-to-face, face-to-face, because on face-to-face, if you can see each other, you can read each other's body language. You can really see if this person, is how they are on video. The worst thing is seeing somebody on video and they're like, hi, everybody. And they're all like gregarious and wonderful. And you're like, oh my God, I love them. And then you get on a Zoom call to talk about being an expert. And it's like a different personality. It's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like it's a completely different person. That's another disconnect. That's another red flag. So it's really important that the person you see in front of you on the business page and in the email and all that kind of stuff is the same person that shows up for the calls. That's somebody I'd want to work with. I don't want to work with the people who show up, barely show up, and are completely different. I want them to be the same person. Okay. So in that call, I want you to be completely upfront with what you're trying to accomplish for your joint venture partnership. Joint venture partnerships have to start off on equal footing. If there's that disparity we just talked about, it's not going to work. Okay. Tell them what you want to accomplish in your list build, how you want them to be a part of it, why you want them to be a part of it. Be open and tell them that all experts who participate in your joint venture, they must promote or it doesn't work. Be very, very concise and incredibly clear that if they don't promote, you are willing to and will take them out of the list build. You will take them out of the event. I know it sounds incredibly scary, but again, this is that relationship thing. Oh my God, I can't kick this high up person off my list build. Oh my God. Actually, yeah, you can. Because if it's not working for you and it's only working for them, then that is not an ethical relationship. Okay. Just like in a real relationship or any partnership or anything, if the two partners aren't working together and they're not, working together as equals and have that good footing, then it's not going to work. Okay. So you also want to make it worth your expert's while. You want to make it worth their time and their effort to participate because, quite honestly, yeah, they've built a following and you want access to that following. So to get it, you got to make it worth their while. Okay. And in doing so, when you're creating an online event like this, you're assuming the responsibility of creating it. You're going to get the tech done. You're going to do the videos and the interviews. You're going to do all those kinds of things. Okay. And in return, they get exposure. So you want to ensure that you're taking into account what skills your speakers bring to the table and how you can maximize the value that they can give, as well as giving them tons of exposure. All right. Ask them to provide free gifts that they can share with your audience to help them grow their list as a result of being on your event. Ask them if they'd be willing to add a workshop to your event, to your online event, like a summit, adding extra value for your viewers and additional exposure for them. Then I want you to, inquire about how you guys can help each other promote the event. So regularly, when you do things like online summits, everybody sort of does I want 2 emails and 4 social media posts. And this is really interesting that, yep, it's mutual respect, Beth, 100%. This is really interesting because Jason and I were having this conversation and it came up like, how many times do people post on social media in a 2-week period? The promotional period for these online events is about 2 weeks. And that's why the conversation started. Most people who are active on social media are promoting or sharing on social media usually once a day, right? If not, sometimes more than once a day. So if you're doing an online event and there's a 2-week promo period and you are only asking for 2 or 3 social media posts, it's not going to have the effect that you want. You want to be aligned with joint venture experts who are loving your idea so much that they're willing to go the extra mile. Okay. So I love this technique. I don't actually tell my experts how often I want them to promote. I ask them first what they'd be willing to do, and then I try and grow on that. Yes, content storm. So this is a technique I use in my online course with my students. It's called the content storm. It's a buildup, but that's about all I'll say to that. So with your experts, you want to ask them what they'd be willing to do. They're going to surprise you. Some of them are going to be like, sure, I'll do Facebook Lives with you and I'll do this and I'll do this and I'll do this. And you're like, heck yes, because it's more than you anticipated that you'd get. Once you have what the experts are willing to do, build on it. Say, would you be willing to, add an email to that? Would you be willing to, post on social media a couple extra times, like this amount of times? Would you be willing to, just see what your expert is willing to do? Don't go for the minimum. Don't do what everybody else is doing, which is 2 emails and 2 social media posts. Come on, not enough. That's not enough exposure, okay? You want to build more than that. And you know just as well as I do that to get people to see what you're doing, you often have to touch them, tap them on the shoulder 7 to 12 times. So in a 2-week period, your expert should be doing something 7 to 12 times. Take that as like a rule of thumb, okay? Then the last thing as part of having that ethical relationship is follow up on everything that you said. Everything you said you would do as the host, you do. Everything that you told your expert and your expert agreed to do and you created that ethical bond and relationship to happen, they do. And if they don't hold up their end of the bargain, you have to be willing to cut ties, okay? You have to be willing the night before launch and you look at your stats and, Amanda so-and-so hasn't promoted your event at all. You have to be willing to cut that person out, okay? I know it's hard. But you got to do it because that's sticking to your guns. You'll feel better actually for having done it. Okay. So we've just run through a whole bunch of information on how to actually create a joint venture online list build, right? So we've talked about selecting the right speaker, ethically working with those speakers. We talked about what a summit is, the fact that you could do this for a challenge or even a panel. The last thing I want to talk about before before this training is done is how to overcome the overwhelm that is actually going to happen as a result of you thinking about building an event like this, okay? Which is why when it comes to challenges, I break down challenges very, very deeply and break them down into like the course that I'm doing, which is, weeks long, so that people don't get overwhelmed. Yes. Catherine says, it also shows they aren't really serious. The attention goes where the interest lies. Absolutely. Right? So you want people that are serious about it you want people to be just as serious about your list build and what you're doing as you are. Okay? So here's how we overcome the overwhelm of actually making this happen. Good. This is actually, before I dive in, Lisa's got a really good question. So Lisa asks, what's the best target number of partners? That depends. So if you're doing a 3 to 5 day online summit and you want to have, 2 speakers in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, that's 4 a day, right? For 3 days. Okay. Include yourself in that number and you've got yourself 11 speakers that you want. If you want to do a 5 day, then you're looking at adding more speakers. Don't exceed 20 to 24 speakers because it will drive you bananas. Okay. Don't go for the numbers, go for quality. And when you're thinking about the ideal number of speakers, you want to break it down. Actually, don't go for the number, go for the actual topics that you want covered in your online event. You should be determining what that is, and you should have a list and be like, in this event, I want to be able to talk about this, 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 and this. Okay, who are the experts that could fill these areas? And then you connect with those experts, not, hey, expert, I think you're awesome. I think you're big and I really want exposure to your list. What could you talk about? That's not the way to go, okay? So let your niche and your goal determine the amount of speakers that you need, okay? That's gonna help you a lot better versus the other way around, which is how everybody else approaches it and screws it up. All right, so let's talk about how to overcome this overwhelm because I know that it's out there. Okay. There is a long list of things you guys need to do to build out an online event like I just described. There's a lot of work involved and a lot of planning. So just like the big pros, because trust me, the big pros are doing these events and they're building their list because big people have to, the people who are making multiple 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure, they're doing summits. They're doing challenges and they're doing summits because they know the value of creating a list injection, building up their list with new leads, and then being able to market to them afterwards after having built the relationship in the challenge or the summit, okay? So overwhelm almost always stems from not planning, from just thinking, I have 52 tasks, how am I gonna get 52 tasks done? It's that whole, oh my God, my essay's due tomorrow in high school, university, how am I going to get 6,000 words, single spaced done, right? And I mean, I went through that. Everybody's gone through that. So how to work through that is actually planning. And Jennie Wright from high school and university is probably like just giggling because I didn't plan. And I was the night before person. I used to write all my essays and everything the night before or study the night before. And here I am, X amount of years later talking about planning. So it's kind of a joke. But planning is the key here. If you're going to be doing an online event like I just described, you're going to want to start planning it 90 days before launch. So if launch date is June 1st, 90 days back is when you want to start planning it out, okay? Yes, you can do a shorter window if you're a lot more organized and motivated, but I'm just saying that 90 days is a good amount of time. 60 days, I've done it, but I don't like it because it's rushed. And getting on people's marketing calendars, their promotional calendars as a speaker can be challenging if you only give them 60 days, because honestly, a lot of us plan out our calendars 6 to 9 months, sometimes even 12 months in advance. Like I know exactly what I'm doing, right? Like right now, I know exactly what I'm doing till December 31st. And yes, I can fit in things like podcasts and things like that because there's space for that and I allow space for that. But I know when I'm marketing my things in my business and promoting somebody else's summit has to fit into those. So it's really important that I have a larger window of time when somebody approaches me so that I can fit it in. Okay. All right. So if you're going to do this, you need about 90 days, sometimes even 120, but I like the 90. And then you break down the task in a work back calendar. A work back calendar is, I'm starting on June 1st. That's my launch date. I need, I need a week to do this. I need 5 days for this. I need 2 days for this. I need a buffer to do this because building out video or recording videos is like scary to me, et cetera, et cetera. So that's sort of like what you do. You can also use a Gantt chart. So Gantt charts are really, really cool. If you don't know what they are, go and Google them. Gantt charts are a great project management software, not software, sorry, Excel sheet where you can plan out all your tasks and lay out, how long things take. So if you're a Excel person, I know Jason loves Excel. I've learned to love Excel. I didn't love Excel at one point, but Jason's shown me the way. So is Allison. She's shown me how to love Excel. So I actually have a Gantt chart for all of my summits for my clients. I do all of that work for them. So people who work with me to do a summit, I create all that. I create all the planning docs so that you don't have to worry about it, right? That's what is important when you're actually creating something, is having the planning so that it works effectively, okay? When you are creating something like this, the other way to overcome overwhelm is to work with somebody like me, somebody who's done 240 summits or 50 challenges and knows how they all work and plans them out appropriately so they actually, they don't freak you out and they don't overwhelm you, okay? So that's pretty much the training on how this is all going to work out for you in terms of building your list and doing something with a joint venture partner. Hi, Leslie. Good to see you. If you guys have any questions, now's a great time to ask. I'm absolutely open to answering any questions about joint venture partnerships and what that can look like for summits and for challenges. I've got lots of information to share with you, and I'm going to be doing lots of trainings on these. So if you know that you want to actually talk in more detail about doing an online event like this, like a challenge, like a summit, then I want to invite you guys, and I'm just going to make this a heck of a lot easier by doing this because it's easier when I do this. I want to make it really easy for you guys. So if you're interested and you want to actually talk about what it would be like to actually do an online event like this, like a challenge or a summit in your business, then I want you guys to go ahead and book a call with me. And that link did not actually come out as a link. So let's get that figured out. Oh, there, now it's popped up as a link. There we go. So feel free to book a call with me, you guys, because if you do, I'll spend 20 minutes with you. It's completely free. I'm not going to try and sell you on anything. And I'm going to show you how you can fit one of these events into your current business, into your life. Right? I've done summits and challenges with ER doctors that are, 36 hours on or 24 hours on and like 24 hours off. I've done summits with lawyers and 7-figure business owners with barely any time. Like I've done it all. So I can absolutely show you how you can fit a list build like this into your life and how it can transform your business. I want you to imagine what it's like if you can add 500, 800, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 people to your email marketing list. If you were to add them, how would that transform your life, right? Catherine says, I'm doing a crowdfunding campaign. Is there a way I could utilize joint venture partnerships? You could, but that's not my level of expertise when it comes to sponsorship. What you could do, Catherine, is you could ask people to help share your crowdfunding campaign. And you could add gamification to make that happen. So you could ask people in your circle to help share your crowdfunding campaign. And the gamification would be, if you post this on social media 5 times, I'll give you X service, right? Like almost like a barter in return for them sharing it. You provide the copy and any graphic to them to have them share, make it easy for them, any social media graphic or whatnot. So you provide that for them and ask them if they will absolutely share with you what it is that, you're doing so they can best help you. Okay, does that make sense? So go ahead and try doing that. It's not my forte to work on that with most people, but I think that that strategy might actually help you. Okay, good. Awesome. All right. Okay, so what I want to recommend to you guys, and I'm just going to wrap this up in a second, I just wanted to make sure I was covering all my notes, that creating something like this can be really, really good for your business. And I highly recommend that if you aren't planning a list build like this, a challenge or a summit, that you're planning on doing it either in like a challenge you can do anytime. A summit, I mean, I would prefer that you do it between now and the end of June. And then also you can do again in the fall, right? September, October, November, that kind of thing. Yes, you can do a skill trade, etc. That would work for you very well, Catherine. Okay. All right, guys, thank you so much for being on. If you haven't already, please go ahead and feel free to book a 20-minute consult with me. Again, it's completely free, and I'm not going to try and sell you anything. I just want to try and help you understand how a list build like a summit or a challenge can fit into your business and how it's going to help. All right, thank you so much for being on, you guys. I really appreciate all your time and all the comments. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you all super, super soon. Take care, guys. Bye for now.